Have you ever looked in the mirror, felt your steps getting slower, or noticed that simple tasks now take a little more effort, and wondered, can I really regain the strength I once had? The answer, grounded in science, may surprise you. Because while aging is inevitable, muscle loss is not. In fact, many people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s are now reversing the signs of frailty and rebuilding their muscle strength, not with complex routines or expensive treatments, but with one simple, powerful daily habit. Here's the shocking truth. By age 80, the average person has lost up to 50% of their muscle mass. This condition, known as sarcopenia, is responsible for over 300,000 hospitalizations per year due to falls alone. But what if we told you that this doesn't have to be your story? That there are superagers, individuals in their late years, who still hike, garden, lift weights, and live independently with strength that rivals people half their age. What are they doing differently? That's what this series is all about. And the most important thing, it's not luck, it's not genetics, it's habits. Small daily actions that compound into remarkable vitality. So before we begin, let me ask you to do 3 things. If you care about your strength, your future independence, and aging gracefully, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with your age or where you're watching from. Your interaction helps us bring this life-changing information to more people like you. Stay with us until the end, because I promise you this. By the time we finish, you will know the exact tools that scientists and doctors recommend to restore muscle mass, protect your balance, and feel younger, starting today. Let's begin with the least understood but most exciting strategy, the use of hormetic stressors. Habit 7, introducing hormetic stressors. The body doesn't always grow stronger through comfort, it grows through challenge. Hormesis is the scientific principle that small doses of stress can trigger powerful cellular responses, making your muscles more resilient, your metabolism more efficient, and your body more adaptable to the aging process. Think of it like this. Just as lifting weights builds muscle through resistance, brief and controlled stress in other forms can signal your body to rebuild, repair, and renew. The first form of hormetic stress is temperature variation. Studies from the Buck Institute and Harvard show that short exposure to cold, like finishing your shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water, or even short cold plunges, can activate brown fat and stimulate adiponectin, a hormone that protects your muscles. Likewise, regular sauna use or hot baths activate heat shock proteins, key molecules that repair muscle damage and prevent breakdown. In Finland, seniors who use saunas 4 to 7 times per week had 40% less muscle loss over a decade compared to those who didn't. Another powerful hormetic stressor is intermittent fasting, or time-restricted eating. Limiting your eating window to 8 to 10 hours per day can activate autophagy, the body's internal cleanup system that removes damaged components from muscle cells and stimulates mitochondrial growth. In a 12-week study, older adults improved their muscle mitochondrial function by up to 10% just by adjusting when they ate, regardless of weight loss. Then we come to a unique exercise method known as overcoming isometrics. This involves pressing or pulling against an immovable object, like trying to push your hands against a wall as hard as possible for 5 to 10 seconds. These brief, maximal effort contractions send a powerful signal to your muscles to stay strong and maintain their size without the joint strain of traditional lifting. It's especially effective for seniors who may have mobility limitations. But here's the key. These stressors must be practiced intermittently and intelligently. You don't need to plunge into ice baths or fast for days. Start small. End your shower with cool water. Try delaying your breakfast. Incorporate short isometric movements daily. Then build from there. Because when applied wisely, these tiny stressors awaken powerful survival pathways in your body, triggering genes like SIRT and FOXO that literally protect your muscle tissue from aging. And this is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll talk about something even more misunderstood than what you eat, when you eat. Because your muscles don't just care about how much protein you get, they care about when you get it. Let's uncover the timing strategy that turns every meal into a muscle-building opportunity. Habit 6, timing protein intake, when matters more than you think. Most seniors have heard the advice, eat more protein to protect your muscles. And it's good advice. But what almost no one tells you is this: when you eat, that protein matters just as much, maybe even more, than how much you eat. This principle is known in the scientific world as anabolic timing, and it could be the missing link in your muscle health strategy. As we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at using protein to build muscle. This phenomenon, called anabolic resistance, means that simply eating more protein in one meal won't give you the muscle-building results it once did. In fact, many older adults follow a routine that's quietly sabotaging their strength. They skip protein at breakfast, eat light at lunch, and pile most of their protein into dinner. It feels convenient, it feels traditional, but it's working against them. Here's why. After every meal, your body enters a short window of opportunity, about 3 to 4 hours, when it's primed to synthesize new muscle proteins. If you skip this window by eating only carbs in the morning or grazing lightly at lunch, you're missing out on 2 key chances to activate your muscles and stimulate repair. Researchers at the University of Texas found that when seniors distributed their protein evenly across 3 meals, targeting 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal, they gained significantly more muscle than those who consumed the same total amount of protein but concentrated it in a single meal. Let that sink in. Same protein, different timing, very different results. The best part? You don't need to overhaul your diet to do this. It starts with small changes. At breakfast, swap the toast and jam for a couple of eggs, a Greek yogurt, or a protein smoothie. If you're pressed for time, even a scoop of protein powder blended into almond milk can start your day strong. At lunch, lean on chicken breast, fish, beans, or lentils, paired with fiber-rich vegetables and a bit of healthy fat. And at dinner, continue the rhythm. Aim for lean meats, tofu, tempeh, or eggs, depending on your preferences. The goal is consistency, not perfection. This strategy doesn't just help your muscles, it also stabilizes your blood sugar, improves satiety, and gives you more sustained energy throughout the day. And in a 12-week clinical study, participants who practiced protein timing gained an average of 1.2 pounds of lean muscle without changing anything else in their routine. So why don't more people know about this? Partly because it challenges our habits. We're conditioned to think of dinner as the big meal, but your muscles don't operate on tradition, they operate on biology. And that biology needs regular stimulation to grow. The takeaway is simple. Treat every meal as an opportunity to preserve and build muscle. Don't wait for the end of the day to nourish your strength. Make protein a priority from sunrise to sunset. Because when you shift your timing, you're not just feeding your body, you're sending a message to your muscles. Stay strong, stay here, you're still needed. In the next part, we'll focus on a vitamin most people associate with bones, but that researchers now recognize as essential for muscle strength and balance. Over 80% of seniors are deficient in it. Let's talk about why vitamin D might be the most underrated muscle nutrient of your life. Habit 5. Optimize vitamin D levels. The silent power behind muscle strength. When most people think of vitamin D, they think of bones, and they're not wrong. But what they don't realize is that vitamin D may be one of the most critical nutrients for preserving muscle strength, balance, and coordination, especially after 60. Here's the problem. Over 80% of older adults are deficient in vitamin D. And this deficiency doesn't just put your bones at risk. It quietly robs your muscles of energy, coordination, and the ability to grow. What makes vitamin D so essential for muscle function? It all starts at the cellular level. Your muscle cells contain special receptors for vitamin D. When activated, these receptors switch on genes that control muscle protein synthesis, the process by which your body repairs and builds muscle tissue. Without enough vitamin D, this system falters. Your muscle fibers shrink, your coordination suffers, your ability to catch yourself during a fall diminishes. But when vitamin D is restored to optimal levels, everything changes. A major study published in JAMA Internal Medicine showed that seniors with sufficient vitamin D levels had 25% greater muscle strength than those with deficiencies. They reacted faster, they had better balance, and most importantly, they were significantly less likely to fall or lose independence. So what counts as sufficient? Researchers define optimal levels as 40 nanograms per milliliter or higher, yet most seniors sit at 20 or below. Why? Because as we age, our skin produces 50% less vitamin D from sunlight, and our ability to convert it into its active form declines too. That's why supplementation becomes not just useful, but necessary. The standard recommendation of 600 IU per day is widely outdated. Most seniors need between 2,000 and 4,000 IU daily to raise their blood levels into the optimal range. The safest path forward is to get a blood test and discuss the results with your healthcare provider. But if you haven't tested yet, starting with a moderate dose, say 2,000 IU daily, is often a safe and effective baseline. You can also increase your intake through food. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, egg yolks, fortified dairy, or plant milks. And whenever possible, try to get 15 to 20 minutes of midday sun on bare skin, especially your arms and legs, without sunscreen. This is your body's most natural source of vitamin D. But there's one more thing you must know, something most people miss. Vitamin D doesn't work alone. It requires a partner, vitamin K2. While vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, vitamin K2 ensures that calcium goes to the right place, your bones, not your arteries. Without it, high doses of vitamin D may actually increase the risk of arterial calcification. That's why the combination of D3K2 is now considered the gold standard in senior supplementation. If you're already supplementing with vitamin D, check your labels. Look for D3 paired with K2, ideally in the MK7 form, which stays in the body longer and is more effective. And remember, strength isn't just about lifting weights or eating protein. It's about giving your body the micronutrients it needs to activate strength from the inside out. So don't overlook vitamin D. It may be the quietest yet most powerful key to restoring your strength and confidence. In the next part, we'll go even deeper into the hidden fires of the body. Chronic low-grade inflammation is silently destroying muscle mass in millions of seniors. But what if you could reverse that fire and reignite growth? Let's talk about inflammaging and the anti-inflammatory habits that make superagers so resilient. Habit 4, inflammation control, cooling the fire that destroys muscle. It's one of the most overlooked forces behind aging, and yet it touches every cell in your body. Inflammaging, a chronic, low-grade inflammation that quietly builds over time, undermining muscle strength, interfering with recovery, and accelerating frailty. Many seniors blame aging itself for their muscle loss. But the real culprit may be inflammation that's been simmering for years, unrecognized and unaddressed. The good news? You can cool the fire. And when you do, your body responds with strength, clarity, and vitality. So what exactly is inflammaging? It's a state where your immune system is always slightly activated, even when you're not sick. It's the body constantly on alert, pumping out inflammatory cytokines that slowly wear down your muscles, joints, and nerves. This inflammation interrupts the very signals your muscles need to grow, blunting the effects of exercise and making protein less effective. In a landmark study from Tufts University, researchers discovered that older adults with high markers of inflammation lost muscle mass 3 times faster than those with low inflammation, regardless of how much they exercised or how much protein they ate. But superagers, the rare individuals who stay strong and independent into their 80s and 90s, have something in common: low levels of inflammation. Their secret? They prioritize recovery, gut health, and targeted anti-inflammatory strategies. Let's break it down. First, they sleep. Not just nap. Deep, restorative sleep in a dark, cool, quiet environment. Research shows that just one night of poor sleep can raise inflammatory cytokines by up to 40%. 7 to 8 hours of high-quality sleep is not a luxury, it's muscle insurance. Second, they care for their gut. The gut is home to trillions of bacteria that influence your entire immune system. As we age, diversity in gut flora often declines, allowing harmful strains to dominate. Superagers fight back by eating over 30 different plant foods per week, colorful fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, and by incorporating fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut that provide natural probiotics. Third, they move strategically. While exercise is crucial, too much high-intensity training can actually increase inflammation. Superagers balance moderate daily activity with brief bursts of intensity once or twice a week. They walk, swim, practice yoga, or ride bikes, anything that gets them moving without pushing their bodies into chronic stress. And finally, they fuel their bodies with anti-inflammatory nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish like salmon or in fish oil supplements are some of the most powerful natural inflammation fighters. A daily dose of 2 to 3 grams can significantly reduce C-reactive protein levels, a marker of inflammation. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, works synergistically to calm the immune system, especially when combined with black pepper for better absorption. Add polyphenol-rich foods like green tea, berries, and extra virgin olive oil, and you create a daily defense system for your muscles. In one 12-week study, this exact combination of omega-3s, curcumin, and polyphenols reduced inflammation markers by 29%, a difference that can translate into years of preserved strength. Want to know your inflammation levels? Ask your doctor for a high-sensitivity C-reactive protein test, HSCRP. Superagers typically test under 1 milligrams per liter, while the average senior hovers around 3 to 5, sometimes even higher. Inflammation doesn't always hurt, but it does always leave a mark. It saps your energy, it dulls your recovery, it slows your progress. But with the right strategies, you can turn down the flame and give your body space to grow stronger again. In the next part, we'll explore the most underrated corner of nutrition, micronutrients. You might be doing everything right, exercising, eating protein, but still losing strength. Why? Because without key vitamins and minerals, your muscles can't use what you're giving them. Let's talk about the tiny allies that make all the difference. Habit 3, micronutrient optimization, the missing link in muscle growth. You can do all the right things, eat protein, exercise regularly, sleep well, and still struggle to gain or preserve muscle in your later years. Why? Because without the right micronutrients, your body simply can't convert effort into progress. Micronutrients are the invisible force behind every major process in your body. They don't get the headlines, but they run the show. These vitamins and minerals act like catalysts, switching on the biochemical reactions that allow your muscles to grow, repair, and respond to exercise. And here's the surprising truth. Most seniors are deficient in several of the most crucial micronutrients for muscle health. Let's begin with magnesium. Often called the forgotten electrolyte, magnesium supports over 300 reactions in the body, including those involved in muscle contraction, nerve function, and protein synthesis. Yet more than 70% of older adults are deficient. A recent study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors with adequate magnesium levels had 30% greater grip strength and significantly better mobility compared to those who were deficient. Magnesium-rich foods include dark leafy greens, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and even dark chocolate. But absorption declines with age, and many seniors benefit from supplementing with bioavailable forms such as magnesium glycinate or magnesium threonate, which are easier on the stomach and better absorbed. Next, let's talk about creatine, not just for bodybuilders. Creatine is a naturally occurring compound in the body that helps produce ATP, the energy currency your muscles use during movement. As we age, creatine levels decline. Supplementing with just 3 to 5 grams per day can increase strength, muscle mass, and even cognitive function. A study from McMaster University showed that seniors supplementing with creatine experienced more significant gains in both muscle and brain function than those who only exercised. Then there's vitamin B12, particularly in its methylated form, methylcobalamin. B12 is essential for muscle energy, nerve signaling, and red blood cell production. But older adults often absorb B12 poorly, especially if they take medications like metformin or proton pump inhibitors. A deficiency can lead to weakness, fatigue, and numbness in the limbs. If you supplement, choose the active methylcobalamin form instead of the cheaper cyanocobalamin found in many generic brands. Let's not forget the powerful trace minerals, zinc, selenium, and chromium. These support insulin sensitivity, which helps shuttle nutrients into muscles, enhance protein metabolism, and protect against oxidative stress. In a 5-year study from Tufts University, older adults with adequate levels of these trace minerals retained up to 22% more muscle mass compared to those who were deficient. Superagers, those rare seniors who maintain extraordinary physical function, often go a step further. Instead of guessing what they need, they test. Micronutrient panels can reveal personal deficiencies and help tailor supplementation to what your body actually requires, saving time, money, and effort. It's tempting to rely on a general multivitamin, but most don't contain high enough doses of these critical nutrients, or they include forms that aren't easily absorbed. It's better to focus on targeted nutrients in therapeutic doses from food first and then supplements where needed. Muscle doesn't grow in a vacuum. It grows in a chemical environment rich in the right tools. Without magnesium, creatine, B12, zinc, and others, your workouts fall flat, your recovery slows, and your strength gains stall. So if you feel like you've hit a plateau, or if you're doing everything right and not seeing results, it may be time to look beneath the surface. Because sometimes, what's missing isn't effort, it's micronutrients. In the next part, we'll leave nutrients behind and dive into something even more fundamental, the communication between your brain and muscles. When this connection breaks down, strength disappears, no matter how much protein you eat. Let's explore the neuromuscular junction and how to keep it sharp for decades to come. Habit 2. Preserve your neuromuscular junctions. Rebuilding the brain-to-muscle connection. We often think of muscle loss as a purely physical process, the gradual shrinking of fibers, the fading of strength. But what if the real decline starts earlier, in a place we can't see? Long before your muscles grow smaller, something else starts to break down, the connection between your brain and your body. This connection is called the neuromuscular junction, a vital communication hub where your nervous system sends signals that tell your muscles to move. It's like a power outlet. When the plug is strong and connected, movement is smooth. When it frays or weakens, the signal becomes faint and your muscles don't respond like they used to. And here's the part most seniors don't realize. The first signs of muscle aging happen at this very junction. Not in the biceps, not in the legs, but in the wires that power them. After age 60, these neuromuscular junctions begin to deteriorate. The signals from your brain get weaker. The pathways that once lit up effortlessly now flicker, slow down, or misfire. That's why some seniors feel like their muscles are there, but just not listening. The power source is failing. But here's the good news. You can protect and even regenerate these connections if you use the right tools. It starts with movement that demands coordination. Superagers don't just walk on treadmills. They engage in activities that challenge the brain and body together. Tai Chi, table tennis, even pickleball. These movements require timing, precision, and attention. They activate your brain's motor cortex and keep the neuromuscular connection alive. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Physiology found that older adults who engaged in coordination-focused activities twice a week preserved 31% more neuromuscular function than those who stuck with basic cardio or strength training alone. But that's just one layer. There are also compounds that specifically protect your neuromuscular system. Alpha-lipoic acid and acetyl L-carnitine, for example, reduce oxidative stress around the nerves that control muscle movement. Certain forms of vitamin B1, like benfotiamine and sulbutamine, have been shown to support acetylcholine levels, the neurotransmitter your body uses to talk to muscle tissue. And then there's the vagus nerve, the great communicator between your brain and your organs, including your muscles. Simple breathing techniques, such as box breathing, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, practiced for just 5 minutes a day, can stimulate the vagus nerve and improve nerve-muscle communication by up to 15%, according to researchers at Columbia University. Finally, cognitive engagement plays a surprising role. Challenging your brain with puzzles, strategy games, learning new skills, even playing an instrument has been linked to stronger neuromuscular connections. Why? Because the brain doesn't compartmentalize its effort. When you keep it sharp in one area, it improves performance across the board, including how it commands your muscles. It's easy to overlook the nervous system when thinking about muscle strength. But if the signal isn't strong, the muscle can't respond. Think of your neuromuscular junctions as the electrical wiring of your strength. Protect it, train it, and you'll feel the difference. Not just in how much you can lift, but in how smoothly you move, react, and live. In the next and final part of this muscle restoration journey, we'll dive into the ultimate foundation, the single most proven habit for regaining strength, reversing frailty, and living with independence. It's the one habit that ties all the others together. Let's talk about progressive resistance training, the true secret weapon of aging strong. Habit 1. Progressive resistance training, the ultimate key to rebuilding muscle strength. If there is one habit, just one, that stands above the rest in preserving strength, reversing muscle loss, and maintaining independence well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, it's this: progressive resistance training. Not walking, not stretching, not swimming, all of those are valuable. But when it comes to building real muscle mass, improving power, and protecting against frailty, nothing compares to targeted, progressively challenging strength work. Here's the truth that many seniors never hear. Muscle follows a principle called use it or lose it. But more importantly, it also follows another principle: use it harder over time, or you still lose it. This is why many seniors who walk every day or lift the same light weights for years still notice their strength fading. Why? Because the body adapts, and if the challenge doesn't grow, the benefit stalls. Progressive resistance training, PRT, is different. It's built around gradual overload, asking your muscles to do just a little more each time. Whether that's lifting slightly heavier weights, adding another repetition, or extending the time under tension, the point is simple. You apply stress, your body responds by growing stronger. And the science? It's overwhelmingly in favor. A major study at the University of Alabama found that seniors in their 70s who engaged in PRT gained an average of 3.3 pounds of lean muscle in just 12 weeks. Even more stunning, they improved their strength by 35%, lowered their blood sugar, improved balance, and boosted cognitive performance. So what does effective PRT look like? First, it's about intensity, not duration. You don't need to train every day. 2 to 3 sessions per week, each lasting 30 to 45 minutes, is more than enough. What matters is how hard the muscles work during those sessions. Second, focus on compound movements. These are exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once: squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, and pulls. Even bodyweight versions like chair stands or wall push-ups can be modified to suit your level. Compound movements create a bigger hormonal response, stimulate more muscle fibers, and offer better results than isolated movements. Third, aim for momentary muscular failure. This means choosing a resistance or exercise version that you can perform for 8 to 15 repetitions, but no more. When you reach the point where you can't complete another rep with proper form, that's the magic point. That's where the real adaptation happens. Fourth, don't forget the eccentric phase, the lowering portion of a lift. Slow, controlled eccentrics create more tension on the muscle fibers, boosting strength without adding joint stress. This makes it ideal for seniors who may have arthritis or mobility concerns. Start where you are. If you're a complete beginner, work with a trainer, physical therapist, or trusted resource to learn proper form. Begin with resistance bands or bodyweight exercises. Track your progress. Celebrate small wins. And remember, the goal isn't to look like a bodybuilder. It's to move, lift, balance, and live with confidence. Because here's the bottom line. Progressive resistance training is the only habit proven, again and again, to reverse sarcopenia, reduce fall risk, and restore functional independence. You don't have to train like an athlete, but you must train like your future depends on it, because it does. In the final part of this series, we'll bring everything together. We've covered all 7 habits, but what do they look like when combined into a simple, powerful daily routine? And how do you begin, even if you feel far behind? Let's wrap it all up and help you start strong today. You've made it through the full journey, 7 powerful, evidence-based habits that can help restore your strength, protect your independence, and allow you to move through life with more confidence and freedom. But now comes the most important question. How do you begin? Let's first remind ourselves of what you've learned. You've discovered that small, calculated stressors, hormetic practices like cold showers, saunas, and intermittent fasting can trigger powerful longevity genes and preserve your muscle tissue. You've learned that not just what you eat, but when you eat dramatically affects your ability to build strength, especially with protein timing. You now know that vitamin D, especially paired with K2, is not just for bones, but for protecting every movement your body makes. You've explored the quiet but dangerous fire of chronic inflammation and how sleep, gut health, omega-3s, and polyphenols can extinguish it before it burns your strength away. You've unlocked the power of micronutrients: magnesium, creatine, B12, zinc, selenium, tiny elements with outsized impact. You've seen how your muscles only move as well as your nerves allow, and how activities like Tai Chi, dance, breathing techniques, and mental challenges keep the neuromuscular system sharp. And finally, you've uncovered the gold standard of strength at any age: progressive resistance training, the only known intervention proven to reverse age-related muscle loss. That's a lot of information. So where do you start? Start simple. Choose one habit. Maybe it's adding 25 grams of protein to your breakfast. Maybe it's beginning your day with 5 minutes of isometric holds. Maybe it's booking a blood test for vitamin D. Whatever feels most doable, begin there. Then build. Layer in the others slowly. You don't need to become a superager overnight. Progress is cumulative. Every week you practice these habits is a week your muscles remember how to respond, how to grow, how to keep you standing tall. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to feel behind. What matters is direction, not speed. You are not too old, too weak, or too late. Your body is always listening. It is ready to respond to care, to challenge, to nourishment. Aging doesn't have to mean fading. It can mean refining, strengthening, becoming more resilient with every year, not less. So take your next step, whether that's doing a chair squat, adding berries to your breakfast, or picking up a resistance band. Write down what you'll do. Tell someone about it. Let this be the start of your new foundation. And remember, you don't need all 7 habits today. But if you start today, all 7 habits could be working for you a year from now. That's the promise. That's the opportunity. And that's the power of a single daily habit done with intention. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this series has helped you, please give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more life-changing insights on health and longevity. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What was the most surprising thing you learned? What's the first habit you're going to try? Let's build strength together, starting now, because your strongest years might still be ahead. Stay strong, stay wise, stay moving.